Stephen A., do you still believe your Steelers can make the playoffs?
Hell no. Not at all. I'm done with them. I'm done with them for this season. They're horrible offensively. They're so horrible offensively, they're offensive. It really is. When you look at them, 3 of 14 on third down, started the game 0 of 5 on third downs, got a rushing attack between Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. They couldn't do anything, averaging about 2.1 yards a carry. Mitchell Trubisky was the leading rusher, for crying out loud. Don't get me started with his passing ability. Why is he even in the league? I mean, I've gotten to a point, why is he even in the league? He really gets me sick. I mean, they're 2-4 when he's starting games. They got a better record with Kenny Pickett than him. But I'm just, when you see the quarterbacks, you can get a college quarterback to be better than Mitchell Trubisky. Find one. Find one anyway. I mean, it's just so disgusting to watch him play. And then you got a 3rd and 2 at your own 49-yard line on your last drive, and instead of running the football or throwing in a short yardage situation after that 8-yard pass to Deontay Johnson, RC, what do instead? You throw 2 deep balls that end up incomplete? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. They're awful. They're awful. And I know that Sullivan and Faulkner took over play calling after Matt Canada was let go. Well, we literally have to sit here on national television and apologize to Matt Canada. Because guess what? It don't matter who has that job right now. Apparently nothing's going to work. It doesn't matter who has the job. Nothing is going to work. And the last point that I'm going to say is this. We all love Mike T. Yep. Got mad love for him. 16 seasons as a coach. 13 winning seasons, 3 times 500 record, 10 playoff appearances. I would never, of course he shouldn't be fired or anything like that. But they got to do something about somebody who's picking this personnel. We got to find a quarterback. We got to find a play caller. It is embarrassingly bad. This is just tarnishing the Steelers franchise, the one you won a championship with, the Steelers, the black and gold that you wear with pride and all of those years. They are a disgrace. It is awful. Back-to-back losses to 2 10-loss teams, mired in last place. The Patriots, who had 13 points over the 3 previous weeks, scores 21 points. It's a disgrace. It's just a disgrace. In the first half. So I'm not watching. I'm not watching Steelers no more this year. I'm not even watching.
I am.
So I'm all up. Like that was good, Stephen A. And that was so much. And I'm gonna try to sort of unpack it piece by piece. I think the first thing is when you look at the end of Kevin Colbert's tenure as the general manager, it was also toward the end of Ben Roethlisberger's career. I believe the team started drafting by need, which the Pittsburgh Steelers never did. They took the best person on the board. And so they started to draft by need, and then they were missing, right? So now you have these pieces that you felt like were supposed to fit or supposed to help you get to a championship that are now actually detracting from your team. That's the first piece. The second piece, and I don't want to get to this too late, is Mike T. I love Mike T. I don't believe that Mike T should be fired, but Mike T is the most to blame for this. Mike T's loyalty to Matt Canada throughout this season, throughout the offseason, through his approach to always promoting within is a large reason why you're here, why he's here. His approach to sticking with things too long is a large reason why you're here. I want to talk about preparation. I want to talk about execution. The New England Patriots absolutely stink offensively. So what did Bill Belichick do in the week where he knew he had a short week and you lose 6-0 to the Los Angeles Chargers? He calls a mandatory meeting at 8 p.m. He says, all my coaches, y'all need to get in here and we need to change something. Where's the mandatory meeting for the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching staff? Where's the meeting that figures out a way to score points or move the football with Mitchell Trubisky? Y'all saw the same second half last week that I saw. Y'all saw the same beginning of the season last year that I saw. I don't know if Mason Rudolph could do worse. At least give him a try if he's still on the team. And the last thing to me is this. You can't will wins. The Pittsburgh Steelers of old can't will wins down to this new team. They can't give them to them. They can't let them inherit them. You got to go out and earn them. And when somebody like Deontay Johnson does what he's done, right, behaves the way that he behaves, you think that's who I'm finna reward on 4th and 2? You think that's the guy I'm about to give an opportunity to be the hero of the black and gold? No, that's the dude I'm going to make an example out of. That's the guy I'm going to show that sort of behavior doesn't get you rewarded when you play for this organization. And so much has to change. But Mike Tomlin has to change. Mike Tomlin's message has to change. His approach to this locker room has to be different because the James Ferriers, the Troy Palomalus, the James Harrisons, the Hines Wards, those guys aren't stepping back in.
And I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers find themselves in an unfamiliar place because of the stability they had at the position for 15 years. Every pick works when you have a franchise quarterback, a Hall of Fame quarterback, right? So now what happens is you take Najee Harris, right? And that was the first bad pick. We know that you don't take running backs in this era of football, but that they were on brand with who the Steelers were. You take a talented tight end this year from Georgia, right? And what happens is when you miss at the quarterback position, it sets your organization back. And Mike Tomlin doesn't understand what it's like to play with that type of quarterback because he had Ben Roethlisberger, and I think you guys took him for granted, right? Mitchell Trubisky shouldn't be in the NFL, and it's on par with what's going on across the league. The backup quarterback is going to be the most valuable position going forward because we see what's happened this year. I think next year, guys like Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, they're going to get bigger bags because in this league with the extra game, it's a battle of attrition. Quarterbacks are going down at an alarming rate. Mike Tomlin, you can't call an emergency meeting. I don't think you call an emergency meeting if you're Mike Tomlin because you're 7-5. You're winning football games, and yeah, it's not perfect, but you can figure it out. But we know on a Thursday, a short week, it's about preparation. It's about who has the better game plan. And Bill Belichick is notorious, no matter what he is with personnel and being able to devise a game plan that's totally different from anything you saw on film. And I thought Bailey Zappi really played well, and he did something. This was the classic trap game. You got a team that is horrible. You're a great defense in Pittsburgh, and you got punched in the mouth, and you got out-schemed.
Bart, it's not a trap game. You just lost to a two-win team the week before. But it's like I said this morning, right? Think about watching Pittsburgh Steelers film with no sound and no scoreboard.
I get it.
They ain't no different than the Patriots and the Cardinals. How you get trapped?
Because
when you in the trap.
You lying to yourself, right? Because they got the end result. They Tomlin's in their way to win. So you think, hey, man, we're a great team. We got a team that can't put up 5 points against defense that's not as good as us. This barbecue chicken. You know how it is. When you get to this part of the year, not everybody's a professional.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we used to have the Blake CDs that we used to put on, and we used to have that report, and you get the guy that gets up there and he gives you that report based on the personnel and the people that you're playing, and you tell you he talking in generalities. You're like, come on, bro. Yeah, he's explosive. He got a big arm. Like, bro, you ain't watched no damn film, man. So you got a team like that now. I think that's preparing like that. And you guys have always had your Deontay Johnson, right? You've had it in Santonio Holmes. But the problem was you had a Hall of Fame quarterback that we don't have to depend on you. When you have a quarterback that bad, you got to depend on a wide receiver like that because we know that production breeds tolerance.
I know Stephen A. got to go. I'm not going to let you put Deontay Johnson on Antonio Brown.
I'm saying talented.
Was what he was off the field.
I'm saying Santonio.
This dude don't show up in stadiums.
I'm talking about Santonio.
Santonio wasn't like that till he got to y'all, and y'all gave him that money.
You guys have always had a controversial receiver that you had to keep in check, and I think it's starting to spill over to Pickens, too. So you got to nip that in the bud.
Right. Well, let me say this to you. Well, first of all, RC, I got to give props with props. It's a fly-ass suit you got on there.
My dog.
Suit. I like that.
God.
I just got to give it to you. I just got to give it.
What I got on Men's Warehouse? What the hell I got on Men's Warehouse, son?
I told you
about your salmon suit.
Too tight.
You know what it is?
Oh, my
you know
neck
what
too
it is?
big.
I liked your suit better last week than this one. That's what it is. I mean, I'm looking fly hard. G.
You are clean.
I mean, RC is
the
doing
blue last night,
a
though.
whole bit of stuff like that. But it's on another level, wasn't it? And wait till you see tomorrow night. That's all I'm going to tell you. Wait till you see tomorrow night. But anyway, back to the whole point. Having said all of that, Steelers rather, 290 yards offense, 7 of 25 on third downs over the last two games. This is the part that where RC stuff really, really hits home, Bart. Mike T, you know enough about football. You know you're a winner. We got mad love and respect for you. You know what you got on the defensive side of the ball. If we're going to crucify Bill Belichick for after Josh McDaniels walks out the door, for having Joe Judge and Matt Patricia as an offensive coordinator with Mac Jones last year and ruining him, right? And setting him back, right? Before you get Bill O'Brien back in there this year and he can't there's only but so many miracles you can work. If we're going to get on Bill Belichick, the great Bill Belichick, the 6-time champion as a head coach that is Bill Belichick, how do we not get on Mike T for not making sure that you got something better offensively so you can take some of that pressure defensively? If you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, we all know how big time their defense can be. We also know on far too many occasions they look like they bend a little bit too much. Even when they don't break, we're uncomfortable with how much they bend. Why is that, RC? I'll tell you why that is. Because if you're on the football field, and y'all know this better than me, I'm just coming from a reporter's perspective. If you're watching this team, you're going like this. This offense is trash. We got to come out here. We can't afford to make any damn mistakes because they ain't going to do anything to help us. And that's what I think is going on. Demoralization has kicked in like a virus, and it has contaminated this franchise. And I think that is what we're seeing right now from these Pittsburgh Steelers.
You got the playoffs. It can't seep in. You can't let it seep in. Me and RZ are both.
But it has. But it has, Bart. I'm not saying it's right, but it has.